Well, we just, this old girl hasn't been running for a few days. Matty Cullen's been that good to us, Lennon, in his car and everything. I've got her running there now, just warming the oil up. Excuse me. Time for an oil change. She's done 603,000 kilometres. Time for some new blood. Almost 604,000. That'll do. Time to drop the oil. Well, we'll have to get the grease gun out onto this old girl. But other than the usual, she actually doesn't look too bad under here. Bit dusty. Yeah. So we'll get this new oil into her, and that'll probably see us until around Brisbane, I reckon. Sunshine Coast, maybe Sydney at the outside, and I'll have to service it again. But yeah, it's been running like a treat. I'm starting to really like this vehicle. I don't know if I'm going to get rid of it or keep it, because I reckon she's got another couple of trips around Australia in her. She's awesome. Oh, that'll make her happy. It's a 10-litre bucket. So yeah, they hold very close to 10 litres, these ones. I'm going to get another a couple of litres up at the shop, and she'll be good for her next piece of our adventure. Yeah, so our old oil goes into there, and then I'll take it down to the industrial area down there in Tom Price, only a few minutes from here. I'll see one of the local mechanics. They've all got a waste oil section that depending on how much oil they're turning over as to how often they get it pumped out and they recycle it or they use it for different things. But yeah, if you're going to service your own gear, make sure your oil goes in the right spot. It doesn't go in the bin, or it doesn't get tipped on the ground or in your garden or any of that rubbish. It's got to go into the recycle section at one of your local mechanics. And done, ready for another 10,000. Now the service part of it's done. Because these the fishing rod holder bracket's been off quite a few times. The screws here, the screws that hold it all on, the holes are getting a bit how you going. So what I do now before I put the screws back in is I just get a bit of wire like that. Fold the end of it, drop it in the hole just like that, so that both strands of wire are still out, and then bang the screw. I've got no hands spare, so I can't do it and actually show you, but all of those screws have you can see the wire hanging out of that one. They've all got, so is that one, just there. They've all got this wire hanging out of them, and it makes the screws tight. Otherwise the whole thing will vibrate and chafe, and it could even break the screws and eventually fall off, but I'd catch it before that. But yeah, if your screws are getting a bit flogged out or the holes are getting a bit too big, whack a bit of wire in it. And at home, if you're doing it on door hinges or whatever with timber, toothpicks are a good one. Put toothpicks in the wooden holes and whack your screw back in it. Does the job nicely. There he is, in, and you just snap that wire off. There we go. And now that whole contraption is very tight. I'll just make sure the rods are sitting properly up the top there. To make them sit right, I just put lids off bottles underneath there, and when I set all that up properly, nothing rubs up top. So when they rub up on top, you can actually hear it in the car tapping on the sup board and whatever. But we're done. Looks like we're going to suss out the Carragini. That'll be good footage. How'd you go, Matty? Are we ready to do this Carragini?
Yeah, ready to go, mate.
Ready and raring?
Yeah.
Plenty of charge in that battery?
Hey?
Plenty of charge in the battery?
Hope so.
Beautiful. So this tyre, the repair I done on the tyre about a week ago, there she is in there. Hasn't had a chance to wear off yet because I haven't been driving this vehicle, but as you can see, she's still at full tyre pressure. So those little plugs that you put in your punches are very, very successful. That's if they're in the treaded part of your tyre. If the hole ends up in the wall of the tyre, inside or out, that's on the side. Whoops. Yeah, if it ends up on the side of the tyre, for road use, it's illegal. You cannot put them in the side of your tyre for road use. Unless it's an emergency, you got to do what you got to do, but you can only put them in the treaded section of your tyre, and they work a treat.
Yeah.
Where are we off to, Mr. Cullen?
Off to the Carragini again.
What's out there?
It's got some really nice gorges. We're going to, there's Fern Pool, that's a really beautiful spot. And Dale's Gorge is another nice one. And then there's a few other ones that are a bit harder to get to, but we'll see how we go.
Bloody sounds good to me, mate.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Mark? You looking forward to it?
I have been hanging out for this day.
Yeah, no, it should be good. They reckon these gorges that we're about to see are in the top 10 in Australia. Like WA for us is a winner, It's absolutely gorgeous here. The landscape's second to none. But where Maddie's taken us today, you'll see that footage in a minute. Like I said, the gorges that we're about to see are in the top 10 in Australia. So, you know, it's back to each to their own as to what your opinion is there. But we're going to bring you that footage in a minute.